Relationships can be a source of great joy, but they can also present significant challenges. It's natural to have expectations when it comes to our relationships, but sometimes these expectations can lead to disappointment, frustration, and even resentment. The ancient Stoics believed that the key to navigating relationships successfully was to overcome these expectations. By focusing on what is within our control and accepting that other people's actions are not, we can find greater peace and fulfillment in our relationship. Let's explore the teachings of the Stoics and how they can help us cultivate healthier, more fulfilling relationships. We'll discuss the importance of self-awareness, the power of perception, and the benefits of practicing gratitude and acceptance. So if you're struggling to navigate your relationships with grace and wisdom, read on for some Stoic insights that can help you find your way. The negative impact of expectation. Expectations can be a double-edged sword. On one hand, they can provide us with a sense of direction and motivation. They can push us to work harder, strive for success, and achieve our goals. On the other hand, expectations can also lead to disappointment, frustration, and a sense of failure. When we place expectations on others, we are essentially setting ourselves up for potential disappointment. We create a picture in our minds of how we want things to be, how others should behave or respond, and when reality doesn't align with our expectations, it can be incredibly disheartening. By letting go of expectations, we free ourselves from the emotional roller coaster of disappointment and resentment. We become more open to accepting people as they are, rather than trying to fit them into our preconceived notions. Letting go of attachment to outcomes. One of the key principles of Stoic wisdom is the practice of letting go of attachment to outcomes. This principle teaches us to focus on what is within our control and to detach ourselves from the desired outcomes that we often become fixated on. In our relationships, we often have certain expectations of how others should behave, how they should treat us, or how they should respond to our actions. We invest our emotions and energy into these expectations, creating a sense of attachment to specific outcomes. However, the Stoics remind us that we cannot control the actions or choices of others. We can only control our own thoughts, actions, and responses. By recognizing this, we can release ourselves from the burden of attachment and find freedom in accepting things as they are. When we let go of attachment to outcomes, we become more present in our relationships. We can fully appreciate and enjoy the time spent with loved ones without the constant worry or disappointment of unmet expectations. Instead of focusing on how others should behave, we can focus on our own virtues and how we can contribute positively to the relationship. By practicing detachment, we cultivate a sense of inner peace and resilience. We become less reliant on external validation or the need for others to fulfill specific expectations. Instead, our happiness and fulfillment come from within, allowing us to navigate relationships with a sense of ease and acceptance. Letting go of attachment to outcomes is a powerful practice in our relationships. By embracing the wisdom of the Stoics, we can free ourselves from the burden of expectations and cultivate healthier, more fulfilling connections with others. Communicating openly and honestly. Open and honest communication is essential in navigating relationships with Stoic wisdom and overcoming expectations. Stoicism teaches us to embrace truth and accept the things that are within our control. When it comes to relationships, effective communication allows us to express our needs, desires, and boundaries clearly, fostering understanding and mutual respect. Instead of harboring unspoken expectations, Stoicism encourages us to communicate openly about our expectations and to listen attentively to others. By expressing our thoughts and feelings honestly, we create an environment of trust and vulnerability, where both parties can freely share their perspectives and find common ground. In practicing Stoic communication, it's important to approach discussions with a calm and rational mindset. Instead of reacting impulsively or defensively, take a moment to reflect on your emotions and thoughts. Consider whether they align with Stoic principles such as focusing on what is within your control and accepting the inevitable. This self-awareness allows you to respond thoughtfully and constructively, fostering a healthier and more harmonious relationship. Stoicism encourages us to be open to feedback and constructive criticism. By cultivating a mindset of continuous learning and growth, we can embrace opportunities for self-improvement and strengthen our relationships. Honest and constructive feedback helps us understand our weaknesses and enables us to make necessary adjustments, both in our behavior and expectations. Remember, effective communication is a two-way street. It's not just about expressing ourselves, but also actively listening and empathizing with others. By practicing active listening, we demonstrate respect and genuine interest in the perspectives and feelings of our loved ones. This fosters deeper connections and allows us to navigate relationships with greater understanding and empathy. Open and honest communication is a cornerstone of navigating relationships with Stoic wisdom and overcoming expectations. By embracing truth, expressing ourselves clearly, and actively listening, we can cultivate healthier and more fulfilling relationships based on mutual understanding and respect. Cultivating empathy and understanding. Cultivating empathy and understanding is a crucial aspect of navigating relationships with Stoic wisdom. In a world where expectations often lead to disappointments and misunderstandings, practicing empathy can bridge the gap between individuals, fostering healthier and more fulfilling connections. Empathy involves putting yourself in someone else's shoes, attempting to understand their emotions, thoughts, and experiences. It goes beyond sympathy or feeling sorry for someone. Instead, it involves actively listening to others, acknowledging their perspective, and responding with genuine care and compassion. When we approach relationships with empathy, we create an environment where open and honest communication can thrive. By seeking to understand rather than judge, we foster a sense of trust and mutual respect. This allows us to navigate conflicts and differences in a more constructive manner, finding common ground and working towards solutions that benefit both parties. Understanding is another essential component of cultivating empathy. It requires us to educate ourselves about the experiences, struggles, and challenges faced by others. By broadening our knowledge and perspectives, we can better relate to individuals from diverse backgrounds and cultures. In the context of Stoic wisdom, cultivating empathy and understanding also means recognizing that everyone has their own unique journey and struggles. It involves accepting that we cannot control or change others, but we can control our reactions and responses to them. By practicing empathy, we develop the ability to detach ourselves from our own expectations and judgments, allowing us to see and appreciate others for who they truly are. As we navigate relationships with Stoic wisdom, let us strive to cultivate empathy and understanding. By doing so, we can transcend our own expectations and biases, fostering deeper connections and promoting harmony in our interactions with others. Embracing change and impermanence. In our journey through life, change is inevitable. Relationships, in particular, are not immune to the ebb and flow of impermanence. Embracing this reality with a Stoic mindset can empower us to navigate relationships with wisdom and resilience. Stoicism teaches us to accept that everything is subject to change and that clinging to expectations can lead to disappointment and suffering. Instead, we are encouraged to cultivate a mindset of adaptability and flexibility. By acknowledging that relationships, like all aspects of life, are transient, we can approach them with a sense of openness and curiosity. Embracing change in relationships means being willing to let go of preconceived notions and expectations. It means accepting that people grow and evolve, and that the dynamics of a relationship will naturally evolve as well. Rather than resisting these changes, we can choose to embrace them as opportunities for growth and deeper connection. Moreover, Stoic wisdom reminds us to focus on the present moment rather than dwelling on the past or anxiously projecting into the future. By staying grounded in the here and now, we can fully engage with our relationships and appreciate the beauty and richness they bring to our lives. Inevitably, there will be times when relationships come to an end or evolve in unexpected ways. Stoicism guides us to approach these transitions with grace and acceptance. Instead of harboring resentment or holding on to what once was, we can find solace in the knowledge that change is a natural part of life's journey. By embracing change and impermanence in relationships, we free ourselves from the burden of expectations and allow for authentic connections to flourish. We become more adaptable, resilient, and open-hearted individuals, capable of navigating the ever-changing tides of human connection with wisdom and grace. Nurturing healthy boundaries and self-care. Nurturing healthy boundaries and practicing self-care are essential aspects of navigating relationships with Stoic wisdom. In our fast-paced and interconnected world, it is easy to become overwhelmed by the expectations of others and neglect our own well-being. However, by setting and maintaining healthy boundaries, we can protect our emotional and mental health, and also foster healthier and more balanced relationships. One of the key teachings of Stoicism is the importance of focusing on what we can control and accepting what is beyond our control. This principle can be applied to setting boundaries in relationships. It is important to recognize that we cannot control the actions or expectations of others, but we can control how we respond and set limits to protect ourselves. Setting boundaries involves clearly communicating our needs and limits and being assertive in enforcing them. This may involve saying no when necessary, prioritizing our own needs, and not overextending ourselves to please others. It is not selfish to prioritize self-care and establish boundaries. It is an act of self-respect and preservation of our well-being. Self-care is an integral part of nurturing healthy boundaries. It involves taking the time to prioritize our physical, emotional, and mental health. This can include activities such as regular exercise, practicing mindfulness or meditation, engaging in hobbies or activities that bring us joy, and seeking support from friends, family, or professionals when needed. By nurturing healthy boundaries and practicing self-care, we cultivate a sense of inner strength and resilience. We become better equipped to navigate relationships with clarity and wisdom, and are better able to handle the expectations and pressures that may arise. Ultimately, by taking care of ourselves and setting boundaries, we create a solid foundation for healthier and more fulfilling relationships based on mutual respect and understanding. Overcoming expectations can be a challenging task, but by applying Stoic principles, you can cultivate healthier and more fulfilling relationships. Remember to focus on what is within your control, embrace acceptance, and practice gratitude. By doing so, you will find yourself better equipped to communicate effectively, manage conflicts with grace, and ultimately foster stronger connections with your loved ones. May your relationships be filled with understanding, empathy, and mutual growth.